Hey guys, Pastor Sean coming to you with today's daily devotion. We're looking at the book of James over the last several weeks. On Sunday mornings, Pastor Eddie's following up on Wednesday nights with the teaching that goes along with what I've been preaching. And yesterday we started off in the book of James and are going to look at it again tonight. Right there in the 4th chapter, James really rebukes the church and he tells them, he says, you've got a lot of problems going on. You're jealous of each other. You're fighting amongst each other. You're envious of what other people have, to the point that you're even going out and fighting and killing people to get things that you want, but you don't really need. And he talked to them about their jealousy and their hypocrisy. He goes as far as calls them hypocrites. And he talks about them and he says, you can't have one foot in the world and one foot in the church. He says you can't be friends with the world and friends with God. He says you can't love them both. You're going to serve one and hate the other is what Jesus tells us. But James is rebuking them here. And then he gives them the formula to get past it. And the first thing he says is, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. So many times we get very comfortable with what life has dealt us. There are cars in our garages, there's clothes in our closet, there's food on the table, there's money in the bank. And sometimes we have a tendency to forget that God is the one who supplies all of our needs. It's because of God that we are able to get up and go to work a job, or it's because of God that we have a roof over our head. You know, we're very fortunate, and I say this a lot, we're very fortunate to be born in the country that we're born in. God allowed us to be born in the United States of America. We could have very easily been born in a poverty-stricken nation in Africa. We could have been born in communist China. We could have been born, somewhere where God is not celebrated, freedom is not available, and we'd be struggling. I have some friends of mine who are in Ukraine right now, and they're talking about how people are crying out to God because of their struggle, because of the fight, because of the war that's going on, because they've lost everything and they've been pushed out of that comfort zone. James says don't get to the point to where you have to call on God. Call on Him ahead of time. He says humble yourself. Walk away from the sin that's in your life. Walk away from the pain, the frustration, the anger, the bitterness, the jealousy, the envy. Walk away from these things. Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. Humble yourself. Why? Because God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. So the first step to experiencing revival in your life, revival in the church, revival in the community, revival in our country, is to humble ourselves. We have to remember where our strength comes from. David said, lead me to that rock that is higher than I. He says, I look to that holy hill from whence my help comes. My help comes from the Lord. No matter how much of a self-made man or woman we think we are, everything we have comes from the Lord. He's the one who wakes us up, starts us on our day. He's the one who, and I say this a lot, who causes our heart to pump, causes the air to go through our lungs. He is our all in all. And we become exalted in ourselves and think that we have become something, think that we are something more than we are. We have to humble ourselves. Sometimes that means pushing the plate back and going on a fast. Sometimes that means taking away your social media or the television and getting into the Word of God. It may mean, taking some time and spending more time in your prayer closet. Whatever the case may be, put away those differences, put away that sin, and humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. And watch what happens. God will break out in your life in amazing ways. His Spirit will be poured out upon you, and you will see the hand of God moving in your life like never before. So, let's start the process today. Begin to humble yourself. Talk to God and remind Him that He is the reason that you are who you are. and begin to humble yourself. And let's watch God move in our lives. I love you. I'm praying for you. I believe you're going to have an amazing week. I look forward to seeing many of you this weekend at Irwin Hill. God bless you as always, is my prayer.